Hello and welcome to the Keystone Contractors Association annual Veteran Outreach event. We started this, I think, back in 2020. We host an annual big event in an effort to help and assist our military heroes, our veteran service men and women transition from the military lifestyle to civilian lifestyle. Um, Over the years, like I said, we've done this the past, I believe, 5 years. One thing cool we did was in 2022 and 2023, we actually hosted some tours of construction training centers throughout Pennsylvania. We were in Philadelphia at the Laborers Union, Duncansville at the Carpenters Union, and Lebanon at the Carpenters Union. And we invited a organizations and individuals that assist and help veterans with employment. And I thought that was well received. And any on the Zoom today, anyone catching in today that might have missed those tours, perhaps we could revisit that again and do that in 2025. Um, but yeah, we're all about helping our veterans here at the KCA, doing our small little part. And one thing we wanted to focus on this year was kind of a reintroduction. Someone, I'm going to mute you, Rebecca. A reintroduction of helmets to hard hats. They came like gangbusters in the early 2000s, 2000 to 2010 or so. They were all over the place. It seemed like in Pennsylvania, and I, for one, haven't really heard much about them the past few years. And then a couple months ago, I got an email from Helmets to Hard Hats to introduce Joe Osborne, who will now oversee Pennsylvania. And I thought it would be fitting and good for this group to introduce Joe to everyone and kind of hear about Helmets to Hard Hats and how they can help Pennsylvania. So without further ado, Joe Osborne is now the regional manager for Helmets to Hard Hats. He's an Army veteran of 27 years of service. Thank you for your service, sir.
Yeah, thanks, John.
And the floor is yours. Take it away,
Perfect.
Joe.
Yes, sir. Yeah. But first off, good morning, everyone, and thanks, John, for the invite. So definitely excited to meet with your team. So as you said, John, 27 years Army veteran myself. I've been with Helmets to Hard Hats a couple years. Last couple of years, I've been only the high representative, but Helmets Hard Hats did a little bit of restructuring of our regional manager team. So added a few states, Pennsylvania being one of them. Very excited to work with everyone across the great Commonwealth of PA. So without further ado, hit the next slide. So for those not familiar with Helmets to Hard Hat, we were founded back in 2003 by the International Building Trades. So we're basically their military outreach organization. We are a nonprofit, joint labor and management. Our funding comes primarily from donations, private grants, and then PLAs across the country. So, but our primary mission is just kind of helping transition service members even active duty, veterans, and then National Guard and Reserve folks connect with career opportunities in the building trade. So educate them on the process, how registered apprenticeships work, the fact that they use their GI Bill as an apprentice. So, and then we ultimately try to get them connected with those career opportunities. As we go through the slide set, I'll show how we do that and how you all can help us help veterans. So, all right. So how Helmets to Hard Hats works? I said we are a nationwide program. We've got a website. We've got a job board on our website. On the internal staff side, we've got some customer relations management type software to manage all the career seekers coming into us. So, but for unions, JTCs, and employers to become involved with us, step one is just creating a Helmets to Hard Hats account on our website. So we're totally free. We don't charge anyone for our service. So, and I, as the Pennsylvania rep, can help connect you with the website, the link to create that Helmets to Hard Hats account, and then also kind of walk you through the process on how to post your apprenticeship career opportunities. So those first two steps are definitely critical. Veterans get inundated with a lot of information, and it's very tough sometimes to remember what to hear and what they don't hear. So by having that account and having your job posting up all the time, it's always there for them to see, to look at, and then ultimately reach out to either myself or you and find out what that career opportunity looks like. So some of the features of our job board. So you can search for career seekers on our job board by keywords. So if you're looking for someone with a certain specialty, you punch that keyword into our search. It'll bring up career seekers that may have that skill set you're looking for. And then on the flip side, those applicants can also search for you. If they're having difficulties using our job board, I'm here to help. They reach out to me. They tell me where they live at, kind of what they're interested in, and I help connect the dots for them. Next step, obviously, is either getting them indentured if they're going into a training program, or if they're just working for a contractor and not going through apprenticeship, just getting them hired. And at the end of the day, reporting to KST, which for us, KAT is a known successful transition, meaning that someone that ended up being hired or indentured in the building trades, just report that back to us so we can keep track of how our efforts are going, kind of measure where we're doing good at, where we're not doing better at, then make improvements from there. So next slide. So this kind of snapshot nationwide. So from 2022 to 2024. So 2022, we had a little over 9,000 career seekers sign up with our program. For last calendar year, 2024, that number is almost doubled to 17,160. A lot of that is due to the outreach of regional managers such as myself. We've got a very aggressive social media campaign. And then we're also doing a lot of different marketing things across the country and in different states. Get the word out to veterans and these folks looking for careers, what opportunities exist for them. So, all right, so Pennsylvania here in specific. So back in 2020, I had 109 veterans that got into a building trades career. Saw a little dip in 2021, obviously due to the pandemic. So fewer people coming into the trades or starting apprenticeship programs. Went back up a little bit in 2022, 96 in 2023. And as of right now, we're still collecting our data for calendar year 2024. Right at 91 right now. Anticipate that number will continue to grow though. Right, so this is just how our regional map is broke down. So the states in red are the ones that are having the most success right now and getting folks into the trades. But Pennsylvania is definitely getting into the territory where I anticipate them by the end of this year being red, which ironically red is good for us in this scenario here. But and that's where I come in to help connect these veterans with careers and building trades. All right, so what we ask from employers, unions, and local JTCs. All right, utilize H2H resources. So, and me being a new Pennsylvania rep, I'll be your number one resource. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Call me, email, text, whatever's easiest. If you're looking to hire veterans and you want to get on our job board, I'll be that resource that helps connect the dots for you. So this is just a screenshot of our website where you get logged into it. Another thing that we emphasize a lot with veterans, most of them are not aware that they can use their GI Bill in a registered apprenticeship program. So most of you being contractors, I imagine that's registered apprenticeship programs are not necessarily something you worry about every day, but for the locals in the JTC side of the house, we constantly promote like, hey, I know your recruiter told you when you join the service, you get your GI Bill, you use that for college. Well, so now we got a whole bunch of people out there with college degrees. Meanwhile, the building trades are hurting. So H2H is trying to change that dynamic, change the narrative and say, hey, you have to start telling these folks that they can use their GI Bill for more than just a college education. And so this is just an example of a screenshot. For example, say a veteran joins IBW Local 98 in Philadelphia. They want to use their GI Bill to supplement their income. That payment would look at right around $2,421 starting out. So definitely a great benefit. And we constantly promote it. And it's definitely been a difference maker on getting more veterans into the trades. And this is just a screenshot. Just shows some other examples for payments across the country here. So for example, for Washington, that GI Bill payment would be $2,769. So, right. So this one real simple. So we get a lot of career seekers that sign up with our program. I reached out to every single one of them. For example, in the state of Pennsylvania, we had 424 career seekers sign up for our program. Of those, roughly 10 to 15% will actually respond to me. I'll interact with them. The others will search our job board, and if they don't see anything on there that interests them, they're going to move on. So that's why I always recommend, even if you're not hiring right away, but there's a typical time of year that you're looking at and bring folks on, put that job posting up, leave it up year round, and just specify in there like, hey, we do our hiring this time of year. This is what it looks like. This is who to contact. So having that job posting up there definitely helps veterans be introduced to what you have to offer for them. So having said that, so job posting participation by state. So Pennsylvania does lead country right now in the number of job postings on our job board. So kudos to everyone out there that's using our program, getting the job posting up there. Like I said, it's definitely a testament to how Pennsylvania is looking to help veterans out here. So this is just an example of a good job posting. So very detailed, shows what job responsibilities are, where to go to apply. Well, this next slide, unfortunately, will show one where it's just the bare minimum, and it doesn't really tell them anything at all. So if they see this and maybe thought they were interested, but there's really not enough on here to kind of to set that hook, that bait to bring them in to learn more about what you have to offer. So like I said, Helmets Hard Hats, we work for international building trades. So we don't succeed without the support of our affiliates. So be it the labor side or the management side of the equation. So that's what makes our mission possible. For 2025, we have a new staff member and a new position, management employment coordinator. So this individual, Meredith, I believe she's on this meeting as well, but she's going to be a case manager for signatory contractors. So there's some contractors out there that do have very specific needs, and Meredith will be your point of contact to kind of help headhunt for those veterans, those folks that have a specific skill set that you're looking for from a veteran. So her contact information is on there, and also her phone number. So we're working through the process. It is a new position with this. It's going to be funded by the management side of the house, but we're excited to be able to do this. So we do get a lot of veterans that maybe are not suitable candidates for registered apprenticeship programs, but they have a skill set on the leadership side of the house, or they got a specialty, they have specialty craft in the military that would be very suitable for a particular contractor. It's just not suitable for apprenticeship programs. So that's kind of where Meredith is going to kind of help connect those dots between the contractors and the folks that are looking for something a little bit more than starting out as a registered apprentice. And in this slide here, just a snapshot of our regional map. My contact information, actually, I will get that shared in the chat because it's not on this slide right here. But beyond that, John, that is all I have. I didn't know if I know Meredith is on here. Meredith, did you want to say anything did I not cover?
I think you covered it all, Joe. But so nice to meet with all of you. I'm very excited about this new position. And just to add one more thing, I guess, I think in our database last year, we had about 400 candidates who were qualified for some sort of management or leadership position outside of apprenticeship. So my hope is to connect those veterans with positions that can use those skill sets with key signatory contractors like y'all.
Awesome. Thanks, Meredith. And that is one thing I failed to mention going through the slide set. We get a lot of contractors reach out to us, say, "Hey, I want to use the Helmets Hard Hats program." And the only requirement we have for them is just as long as they're a signatory with a local union, then they're more than welcome to sign up for an employer account with Helmets Hard Hats. But beyond that, I don't have anything else, John. I was going to put my contact information in the chat for anyone that would like to reach out to me. And if there's anyone on the call now that has any questions or anything, I'm definitely open to that as well.
Yeah, great. Yeah. So the way this will work now, and I should have said this at the beginning, we'll do a little two-part session here. Number one, we'll handle some Q&A right here. We'll answer some questions about helmets to hard hats. And then after the questions are done, we'll open the floor and then people can share advice, share events, talk about other organizations, just ways that we can help veterans. I have a couple questions, but I do see Thomas has his hand up. So Thomas, you want to go ahead first?
Yes, hi, I appreciate it. So can you clarify, did you mention that to be able to post for an employer, you have to be a member of a union?
Don't necessarily have to be a member of a union, but your contractor, the contractor must be signatory at least with a local union.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
So I had a question. Um, as you know, most of the apprenticeships are 4 years. Um, if someone comes to you and they have experience and perhaps they did this type of work in the military, are they able to test out or test into a higher year, or do they have to start at the bottom, or does it differ by union?
Yeah, and that's actually that's we do get that question a lot as well, John. So, and to be honest, it does vary by union. So some of the trades have made allowances for veterans that have experience in their trade, especially if it's documented through the military. Like a lot of veterans don't know, but they can get what's called a joint service transcript from the Department of Defense. That shows exactly what training they received from the Army, what that training consisted of. A lot of times that document is very helpful when they go into a training program. Like, hey, I was a carpenter, with the Army for 4 years. Here's the documentation to show it. So in a lot of like situations, they will look at that and like, sure, yep, we'll give you advanced standard, advanced placement in our apprenticeship program. So
That's good to know. And the numbers that you show going back to 2020, is that currently, or are those new people every year? Because you had like 100 1 year, then 90, then 80 or whatever. Is
yeah,
that people that stay in the program, or is that new people every year?
that is new people every year.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
yeah, yes, sir. Yep.
Very good.
Yep. So like I said, we've seen the growth in the number of career seekers sign up with this, and now that growth is starting to also catch up on the side of what we call KS2s. Those are actually getting into the building trades. So I said, Helmets Hard Hats, our primary focus is just kind of getting the word out there, educating them, kind of putting that bait out there for them. And then once they are interested, then next step is getting them connected with the folks that can actually hire them. So a lot of veterans don't know a whole lot about how unions work. Sometimes they think, well, I'm going to be employed by the union. Like that's not the case. So I mean, you still have to be hired by a contractor. They're the one that's paying you while you go through the apprenticeship program. So that's something that we also try to emphasize with them, so they have a better understanding of how everything works.
Awesome. Yeah, your first couple of slides I jotted down about what if someone's wants like a project management position or work directly for the contractor, and then you brought Meredith into the fold and introduced her, and I'm glad you did. I'm glad she's with us today, and I'm definitely going to follow up with her and learn more about her role and how she can help employers. So that's awesome.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
Yeah.
yep. Like for example, here in the state of Ohio, almost a third of the job postings in Ohio are from contractors looking for the skill sets beyond just register apprenticeship type opportunities. So yeah, we're definitely open to it, and so we're growing that side of the house as well.
Yeah, over the years, I've assisted a handful of veterans working for employers, and in fact, one goes for a second interview tomorrow for a Harrisburg contractor. So he's going for project management. So fingers crossed that he gets that. So,
Perfect.
um, so in a minute, hopefully, you're going to hear about some other events and some other job fairs or whatever. If an organization or a contractor or anyone is doing anything in Pennsylvania, is that something you can assist with, or someone that you could have a presence at and get your name out?
Sure, definitely. Yeah, yep. I mean, I'll be honest, my calendar fills up quickly, but so the earlier they can notify me, the better the odds of me getting on my calendar and getting out there. But yeah, I mean, our thing is outreach. So both to both the career seeker side of the house, then also the unions, JTCs, and contractor side of the house. So we're trying to connect both of them. So we got to make sure we're doing outreach with both of them as well.
Great. And I see at least one training director on the call here. I don't know. I don't want to put them on the spot, but if you want to add into your experience dealing with helmets to hardheads, feel free. You know who you are. Like I said, I don't want to put them on the spot here, but do you have anything to add?
Well, John, you just did. And I,
Nice. All right. Hey, what's up, Rich? How you doing, bud?
I was in the middle of a phone call there. So I don't know what you were just saying.
No, I was just saying, with your experience at the training set, Rich Pagani's with us. He's the training director for the Eastern Atlantic States Regional Council of Carpenters. He covers most of Pennsylvania minus Philadelphia. So I was just wondering what your experience has been with Helmets to Hardhats.
So it's very minimal. It's something that I forget. Maybe John, you could help me with the gentleman, the last gentleman's name. Was there Doug? He visited me once in the past. He was not a veteran, which I kind of always thought was odd. So Joe, it's nice to see a veteran in that position. And not saying that he didn't have a heart for it. I think he did have a good heart for it, but I think it's definitely you've walked a mile in their shoes. Mad respect for you.
Thanks, sir.
But yeah, it's always, we're always trying to do outreach to the military and trying to get them to know them, for them to know us more. I think that John, it's always when we talk about apprenticeships, it's like, oh, that's the best kept secret. We don't want it to be a secret. We want everybody to know, and definitely open up our doors. So
Absolutely. Absolutely, that's for sure. Yeah, that's why I mentioned earlier we did those tours a couple years ago. We're trying to make sure it's not a secret anymore. We want to open the doors of the training centers, and if you're promoting careers to veterans, make sure you know about the training center, know what the process is to apply, know where they're located for number one, and know what the process is, and know what it's like, to go through this program. So when you promote it, you'll actually know what you're talking about. So.
Yeah, one of the favorite things I like doing is visits to training centers. So I'll definitely have to reach out and get connected with you, Richard, get your apprenticeship to one of your apprenticeship training centers. Because typically what we'll do is we'll do a visit, take some pictures, and then we share that on our social media, and we get a lot of hits that way. Get a lot of folks interested in different trades by showing them actual pictures inside the training center and showing them what they're going to could possibly be doing as an apprentice with that particular trade.
You'll be impressed by the Pittsburgh Training Center. It's awesome. I mean, they're all awesome in Pennsylvania, but I like the Pittsburgh. It's nice. Good stuff.
Awesome.
Joe, anytime you're more than welcome. Anybody, I'll walk one person around. I'll walk 100 people around. I'm an open book. Anybody I could talk to and help guide. And it's not just with the carpenters. It's with any of the trades. If somebody wants to be an electrician, I'll point them in the right direction, and sheet metal workers and so on. I always say carpenters is easy because everybody knows what a carpenter does, but not everybody knows what a glazer does. Or when you say sheet metal, not everybody knows what that really involves. But carpenter, they call it the sexy trade because it's HGTV.
Yeah.
Do it in a half an hour.
Nice.
Yeah. Any other questions for Joe? Hearing none here. I see in the chat, Joe, and a few people put their contact info.
Yeah, I did see the
Meredith.
question too about the presentation. So I'll email this to you afterwards, John, and you can
Okay.
just definitely share as you see fit. So
Awesome.
yep, and I'll quit screen sharing for now. Then that way I don't monopolize the screen for any longer. So
Sounds good. The floor is open. So any sort of comments or any events? Have at it. What do we got? Anything coming up, Rich, at the Carpenters Training Center? You got the open house still coming up this spring?
Yeah, annual open house May 3rd. It's on a Saturday, so when we talk to high school kids, we always encourage them to bring their parents so they can explain to them what a pension is because if the kids care, they don't care. But yeah, that's kind of the big one. We're looking at John said we do have a couple other training centers, and we're looking at open houses at every one of them. Maybe not to the extent of the one in Pittsburgh, But if somebody wanted to tour one of those two training centers, they're just like us here at Pittsburgh. They're an open book and welcoming. And I'll even step out and say the same thing about the Philadelphia Training Center too. That I can definitely get somebody in contact with Bob Landy, that's the director there, and help out with that.
Awesome.
Their Phillies open house is the day before ours, which would be May 2nd, and that's on a Friday
In Philadelphia.
in Philadelphia.
And we can send that after with the PowerPoint. We can send those events as well and give people information on those. And I know we got a couple friends from Career Links. They host a lot of events. Anything going on that we should be aware of?
Hi, good morning. Angie here from PA Career Link in Lancaster. I wanted to let you know about a veteran-focused job fair that we are organizing in April, Friday, April 11th, from 4 to 8. It's in collaboration with the American Legion Post 34 here in Lancaster. We're anticipating 15 plus employers, community resources, and we would love to invite you to the event.
That's in Lancaster?
Yes.
Okay. If you're looking for construction employers, I might be able to find a few in that area.
Yes, that would be great. I can definitely email you more information.
Oh, that'd be great.
Which email address would be
I can
for
follow
you?
up with you afterwards. I can put mine in here as well. So,
Okay, great. Thank you.
yeah.
Hey, this is Tom with the PA Career Link in Huntington County. I was going to be following up. I got to look up his contact information, but I've always had you guys attend our Blair County job fairs as well. So I was going to be reaching out to someone on that behalf. But we do have a job fair coming up March 27th here in Huntington.
Huntington. Is that something you could send me information on?
Absolutely.
Perfect. Any other events to share or advice or questions? Okay, hearing none. What about the frequency of this? I mean, we've done it once a year, and from it we spun off other events. I don't know, a couple times a year, maybe 2 times a year, do this, or quarterly, or feel free to give it some thought and follow up with me afterwards. I'm all about the more we promote helping our veterans, the better. So, any closing comments, questions? Hearing none. Those few events I heard, I'll make sure to circulate them to the crowd and get the presentation as well. And if there's anything I missed, or if you can't unmute, if you have computer issues and you know of an event that you can't talk about because your computer's not working, feel free to email me and we'll get that information out to everyone. So, and it goes beyond the people on the Zoom. We also send it to the 100 plus construction employers of the Keystone contractors. And we partner with a lot of the other construction associations in Pennsylvania, so we get it out to them as well. So
John.
Yes, go ahead.
This Bill Getz. I actually had a vet come in just the other day looking, he doesn't have any on paper work for heavy equipment operator. and he's long out of the service, so he wouldn't qualify for GI Bill or anything like that. Is that something that would work with Title One or VABRE as well, or is it just like with the apprenticeship of those unions and everything? Is it just strictly GI Bill? That's the question I had asked kind of in the chat.
Oh, I didn't see a question.
Oh, it's all right.
Okay. Does anyone know response to that? We did have an attorney. He was gonna join us. I don't see him on here. He was gonna answer any legal questions that were asked.
Hey, John, this is Joe. I mean, I can speak briefly to the VR&E piece of that question. So, for those who are not familiar with VR&E, VA is a Veteran Readiness and Employment Program. The requirements for a veteran to be eligible for that is at least a 10% service-connected disability. The application process starts online for VR&E, and then they get connected with a counselor, a voc rehab counselor with the VA, which will work with them one-on-one on what they're interested in and try to make connections. So I do know that at least a lot of the trades I've been working with here for a while in Ohio, as long as they're approved for use of the GI Bill, they're typically also approved for use of the VA's VR&E program as well. So so that is sometimes an avenue for those veterans that are no longer eligible for the GI Bill, but could use the supplementary income through VR&E as they progress through an apprenticeship program.
And from our outreach and some of the tours, we'd go to the training centers, and some of the training directors, they said that they have different programs within their local and different ways that they can help veterans, with the transition and help financially. So it might be a case by case depending on the different union or the different training center. They might have different programs.
What if they don't need financial assistance, but they want to do that trade? Is kind of better question than I guess I would have. Like, do they have to have that, or would those employers take them on kind of a learning apprenticeship type basis like that, or those employers taking them on because they're getting payment out of it from the GI Bill, kind of?
If you want, I can
Go
talk
ahead,
that
Joe.
real quick too, John. So the big difference between GI Bill for registered apprenticeships versus college is the training centers don't make any money off the GI Bill at all. So so there's no requirement for a veteran to use the GI Bill. It's really just there to supplement their income if they would like to use it. But there's definitely no requirement. So a veteran without GI Bill can still go into registered apprenticeship program without any financial burden, so like tuition and stuff. I know some training centers have some admin fees and different things that they have to pay, but it's nowhere near what they would have to pay, out of pocket to go to college.
Okay, great. So any vet can pretty much sign up for it, but they might have to foot the bill if, in that sense. So it's just not required to have the GI Bill to become part of the apprenticeship program.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
Okay,
You're correct.
perfect. All right, thank you.
Yeah, and to my comment earlier about case by case, and some of the training centers foot the bill on some of those admin fees, which are a couple $100, I believe. Some of the training centers, they help veterans with those fees. But again, that's case by case, so you'd have to check with each place.
No, thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate the assistance.
You bet. Any other comments, questions, advice? Okay, well, I put my email and contact info in the chat. We'll be following up probably early next week with some information related to today. Keep the events coming as you post them, as you create them, send them to us. We'll get it out to the construction industry. All the best to everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of your week, and stay safe. All right, take care, everyone.